When people come to me and say, Arsh, I'm going to sell or I'm going to refinance my own residential house just to do this deal or do that deal, I get really worried. I get really worried because you're putting your personal life on the line. Hi guys, it's Arsh, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the do's and don'ts of getting started in property. We're going to look at, the practical approach, we're going to look at the theoretical approach and ensure that you're making progress every step of the way. Before we do that, I need a small favor from you. If you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell, every time I release a video, you get to get notified of it. As always, all my videos are sponsored by the Property Investor app. It's the UK's first property investment platform, which showcases all kinds of deals all over the UK. Whether you're looking for below market value deals, rent to rent deals, lease option deals, we've got them all on the platform. There are two ways to get involved. You can either go to the website, which is propertyinvestораpp.co.uk, or if you've got a smartphone, you can go to the App Store, type in Property Investor and download it from there. So let's get straight into it. Lots of people want to get involved in property, and that's a great thing. There's not enough people. Obviously, we've not got enough houses. So the more people we can get involved, the more houses that we can create, it's naturally a good thing for the economy. However, this week I went to a networking event, and we're not going to name any names or we're not going to name any people, but I come across a gent, and I've known this gent for a while. And, to be fair to him, I was a little bit tough on him. When I say a little bit tough on him, I said, what are you doing? How are you getting on? Where are you? When I last spoke to you, you were doing this. How's that got on? Etc, etc. And I was a little bit disappointed, if I was honest, a little bit disappointed with the progress, or should I say the lack of progress. Now, the reason why I say that is that I met this gent 5 years ago, best part 5 years ago, maybe even before. And this guy holds a lot of promise, has lots of great attributes, and has the ability to do some great deals. But 4 years in, let's just call it 4 years for this video. 4 years in, still not a great deal happened. And I would say he's a prolific networker. And when we talk about networking, loves going out to networking events, pretty much likes posting them on social media. I'm here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But the reality is that is not turning into action. And one of the do's, when we talk about the do's and don'ts of getting involved in property, rule number one is respect your time, because we all have the same amount of time in a day. How you use that time is going to determine whether you're successful or not. Now, what I'm seeing, and when I asked this guy, okay, so you went to that networking event this week, you went to that networking event last week, you're traveling down to London, you're going off to, Birmingham, you're going off to here, you're going off to there. And these are all networking events. And networking events are great. So the first thing I'm going to say, do is go to networking events. Build your network. Don't spend 4 years concentrating on networking events, because it's all very well talking about it, but at some point, that talk has to turn into action. So when I said, what's the plan of action? Okay, you've spent the last 4 years doing this, and this, or networking. What does that look like in terms of action? What does that look like in terms of productivity? And the reality is, if you were to look at what's happened over 4 years, not a great deal. Now, we can all make excuses. When we talk about excuses, one of the quickest things that came out as an excuse is, COVID. Yes, COVID happened, but COVID didn't shut down the property market. So it was being used as an excuse. And then there was other talks about other people asking him to quit his job, which he was very quick to do. Now, if someone says to you from the outset, go and quit your job because we think you're going to succeed at property, that's a big no-no. The reason why I say that is build yourself a sustainable income base through property first before going off and quitting your job. Now, there are pros and cons to quitting your job. The pros is that you're going to have lots of time to dedicate to your new industry, which could be property. The con, or the negative, could be that for that period that you're building this new business, are you going to be able to survive financially and be able to meet the outgoings of your family, etc. So this guy handed in his notice and said, okay, I'm going all in property, because he was going to go and work with another property company. Now, The week that he quit, the company that he was going to go and work with said, oh, COVID's coming. I'm not so sure about you coming to work with us any longer. Or we're worried about our overheads. Now, for me, I was really disappointed when I heard that, because what happened there, it showed a lack of respect by the other party. They were very quick at asking someone to quit their job, but they didn't follow through on their level of commitment. And, it just shows from that example alone how dog eat dog this industry is. So if someone's prepared to, because they don't care whether this person has got sufficient funds to meet their requirements or sufficient funds to meet their outgoings. So what happened is that this guy had to then go back to his job. Now, that cannot be good for morale. That cannot be good for your mental state of being, because all of a sudden you're hyped that you're going to get involved in property full time. Now you're back to where you were, the place that you're trying to escape. So before we do this, one of the big do's in property is have a plan. Have a 1-year plan, have a 3-year plan, have a 5-year plan. And the reason why I say that is because every step of the way, you use these as key performance indicators, a KPI, so that you can see, are you on track? What's going well? What's not going so well? What needs improvement? Where do we need to tweak? And so when you're starting out, don't just throw everything into the ring. Think, where am I going to be? Think, what is my strategy? Think, how am I going to implement this? Where are the people going to come from? Where is the money going to come from? The money to purchase deals, the money to sustain your income, the money to sustain your lifestyle, the money to look after your family. And this is a key thing. When people come to me and say, Arsh, I'm going to sell, or I'm going to refinance my own residential house just to do this deal or do that deal, I get really worried. I get really worried because you're putting your personal life on the line. Now, the risks attached to property, I completely get that. Sometimes you might need to refinance something to pull some equity out so that you can use it for a better business deal or a better property deal. And there's nothing wrong with that if you can show that that money is being used for good use and that money that you're pulling out is going to produce a return elsewhere. So again, in this video, there's lots of do's and don'ts. Yes, take risks, but they have to be calculated risks. Don't take risks for the sake of wanting to do a deal for the sake of social media. And I see far too many people do that. And I'm a big believer in the saying that numbers don't lie. The calculator cannot lie. If you're manufacturing or you're massaging the figures to make a deal work, the deal is never going to work. So one of the big things that I'm going to say, don't be afraid to walk away from a deal. Do only do the deal that is right for you and your circumstances. If you don't have the funds or you think that you're trying to make something work, talk to industry experts. Speak to the estate agents, speak to the letting agents. And these are the guys that have got the time in the field, and see what they say. If you think that you go to a house and you're going to refurb it and you think the end value is 150, but the estate agents are only telling you 130, you have to take that on board. Now, I appreciate that sometimes that we can achieve in excess of, but I would rather you work your figures on a worst case scenario. So let's say your worst case scenario is that it achieves 130. Your best case scenario is that it achieves 150. And work 2 different cash flow models. Work on it. And then also, one of the things that I would say is a massive do in property is have an ABC plan. So what is the eventuality? So almost create 3 scenarios. Scenario A, what happens if everything goes well? What does that look like in terms of time frame? What does that look like in terms of money? What does that look like in terms of you and your business? Plan B, what happens if it doesn't all go according to plan? What happens if it doesn't sell for the value that you're looking to achieve? Have you got a plan B? What happens plan C if it doesn't value up? You can't rent it. You've got your JV partner on your back and all these different eventualities. Can you still get out? More importantly, how much is it going to cost you? Is it going to cripple you financially? Is it going to hurt your property business? Are people going to come for you personally, or is it in a limited structure? So again, when we're looking at do's and don'ts, the first big do is create a company structure which works so that it doesn't suffer and cripple you personally financially. Don't just go off and just create it on a whim. Do go off and get proper financial, not only financial advice, but also tax advice. Understand what is the best structure for you to run this property business in. So I appreciate that these aren't all in an order, but watch this video back quite a few times and create them in an order. First thing I'd say, plan. When we're talking about plan, the business, the properties, your execution, how you're going to go, look at your KPIs, understand what that time frame looks like, understand how you're going to get there, understand who you're going to meet, understand the people that you're going to meet, who's good for you, who's bad for you. And you will come across some people that are bad for you, people who just suck your time, people just suck on your energy, people that deflate you, people that lift you, and you'll come across all these kinds of people in property. And this is quite a straightforward talking video, so really please take note. Now, I've not done this video to cause any harm or any offense to the people that I meet or what I've kind of spoke about in this video. And I really hope that they use this as a springboard to go off and do great things in property. I was really tough on him when I spoke to him. I said, come on, mate, 4 years on, let's get a move on. What are you doing? Stop using excuses. Stop using external influences as your excuses. Stop using COVID. Stop thinking, oh, I've got family, oh, I've got other commitments. We've all got the same time. You're just using your time badly, and use that other time and stop using other influences. People said, oh, let's do this or let's do that, or can you do this for me? And concentrate on you, because they're not going to put dinner on your table. You're the only person that's responsible for putting your dinner on the table. I really hope this kicks him up the backside, because like I said, he's got great personality, he's got lots of drive, he's got lots of ambition. We just need to channel it into a focused manner so that he's winning for him and he's not trying to create lots of wins for lots of other people and not focusing on number one. So guys, hopefully you've really enjoyed that video, and hopefully that's hit home for a few of you as well. As always, there's lots more free content out there that I put out into the universe. We've got my podcast. I release a new podcast every Tuesday at 6 a.m. It's called The Property Rebel. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, just to name a few. Go and check it out. Please subscribe to it. Please feel free to leave me a review on the podcast store as well. As well as that, you connect with me on social media. Find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, all under the handles of Arsh Ilahim. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, these videos are sponsored by the Property Investor app. It's the UK's first property investment platform, which showcases all kinds of deals all over the UK. Whether you're looking for that BMV deal, whether you're looking for that rent-to-rent or lease option deal, we've got them all there. Now, there's two ways to get involved. First one is that you can go to our website, which is propertyinvestораpp.co.uk. Or if you've got a smartphone, go to the App Store, type in Property Investor and download it from there. It's completely free for you to do that. So guys, on that note, I really hope that this has helped. As always, please feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and also share it. And let's get this up the ranking. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy, and I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.